Stay calm. It's not an AI talking to you. It's really me.
Yes, sorry. Maybe you would prefer a different style. You're getting tired of me, so you'd rather have someone else. Is that it?
All right, let's stop joking around. So today we're going to talk and take a few questions from your feedback.
Come on, let's stop fooling around. Let's move on to your questions. So I've selected a few because we're going to make this last a bit. And also, I'm starting with some simple things to be clever. We have a question from an avatar. Well, I think you all know what it is, but I'm just going to give the definition again because there might be people on the team wondering, but why do we have a supplier as an avatar? How do we split logistics among several managers? There might not be an ideal solution today, but the point is to understand what you want. And Agathe has already asked a question to suggest an improvement. So we'll see how it goes. We might have something to suggest to you. And then Laura's question, which is the most complicated one, here it is about when in the products or in the design, we have certain hotels with an icon showing an H and sometimes a bed appears and we wonder, why does it show up sometimes? And why doesn't it show up at other times? So let's take a look at that. So we'll start with the avatar to keep things really simple here. Why is it that in suppliers, sorry, I'm going to switch cameras because my face isn't really important here. There we go. So when we have a supplier, I'll take this one as an example. We wonder whether, is it an avatar? Is it a supplier? So a supplier is we're going to link it to a product. And so this product is really connected to an actual supplier who exists, who has contacts, and who has lots of additional information that interests us. The advantage then of creating an avatar is that you can link a product, let's say, for example, transportation, link different transportation products that will be associated with an avatar supplier. That means basically we don't know exactly what it is. In other words, we don't yet know who we're going to choose. So this applies to transportation, it applies to guides and so on. And so, well, this allows you to manage it on the logistics side. So if I create an avatar supplier, I need very little information because in any case, I'm not going to generate emails or anything else. I don't need to know the bank account, etc. On the other hand, in logistics, you'll immediately see an avatar appear as soon as you have a bit of information, which is shown in red here. As soon as it's in red, it means there's something that needs to be done. And so here, typically, you've confirmed a day with a guide, for example, in Bolivia. Well, the action you need to take next is to come here to your supplier and either select the right supplier. I'm going to choose Bacolcori Pedro, who will do this tour for me. Well, you'll look in your database. I often put Rodrigo. I must have a Rodrigo. I have a guide named Rodrigo. So from that moment on, it's set, it's indicated in the logistics. That's the reason for having an avatar supplier. I think you already had the answer, but if the question was asked, it's because someone on the team doesn't really know what it's for, and it's important to understand the reason why. Next, well, while we're here, we can see our logistics centers. So I imagine your question, since you also know the answer, is to say, first organization in my supplier. So here, I'm going back to the supplier level. If I have, say, an Avis supplier, for example, here, you'll look at what that means in your logistics rules and you'll say, by default, all my car rental services, I assign them to a particular person in the team. So, well, once that's done, when it goes into logistics, when you confirm your group from the sales screen, it will automatically follow the supplier's rule. So you'll have different logistics centers within the same file if you assign rules by default and by supplier. For hotels, it's this person. For car rentals, it's that person. So those assignments will be respected. This will only be respected if at the moment you confirm your sales project. I'll take this one. There we go. We're going to reconfirm it. So here, as soon as I confirm, you can see here that you have the default option, which is to say, I choose the rules that are linked to the supplier. So in this case, all your rules will follow from that. But of course, you also have the option to say, I assign it to a specific person in logistics. And maybe you want, so it's up to you to tell me if that's really what you want. Look, maybe we could have an option where by default, it's the person who confirmed. That is, when you are in single profile mode, you want that, if the person has confirmed the trip, it is that person who handles the logistics part. So that would be one possibility. We have these default rules that we set at the parameter level. If I go into logistics settings, we have them here. By default, we will choose the service and that matches each provider. You might want, by default, when we confirm, to have the user who confirmed this file. So we'll see if we add some rules. If you want us to add some rules, don't hesitate to let us know. We'll look into it technically to see what it would involve, but I know that Agatha has already gotten a bit ahead and is starting to look into this solution. So I'm going to go back over your questions to make sure I haven't missed anything. How do I split between different managers? We've looked at the different possibilities. We'll see if you need any specific development. Avatar, what's it for? Well, in any case, you can pass the word along to people who aren't really sure why. I imagine it's probably more the travel designers who are less involved in logistics who might be wondering, hey, why is it like this? So it's really just about passing on the information. And Laura's trick question, which is, why do we sometimes have H and beds in to go? We're going to take a look at that. So I'm going to go get my products right away and add the hotel tag. You'll see here that if I add the hotel tag, I would say the main rule that stands out is that I see H's. And on top of that, I'm on a demo database where the rates aren't necessarily updated. So that's already a first clue. So here we see H's, which means that by default, it's a hotel. Here, I see that. The little bed icon appears, and the magic part is that if I hover my mouse over it, now I can't zoom in on that part. I'll make it smaller again and take a quick screenshot to show you what it looks like. Hop, this. I'll enlarge it with a super high definition. You can see that when you hover your mouse over it, it shows you, look, I have a double here. How does it determine whether it's a double or not? And why does it sometimes show the bed icon and sometimes not? Well, I'm going to go into the product, we'll open it up, and you'll understand. Here, in my selections, in my seasonality, for the corresponding date, I only have one option, which is the double room. That's why it shows you the bed icon. The same bed you find in your travel design or directly in the products. This means that at that moment, you have a seasonality. So there is a rate behind it. And depending on the rate you have, it will indicate that there is a double rate. But if it also finds triple or single options, it will show you those as well. Let me check in my examples if I have a bit more. Here, I have double. You can go and check directly in your own databases to see what it looks like. But let me take a look here. There we go. Here, for example, same thing. I'll zoom in and show you what it looks like. Here, for example, I don't need to go check my rates. I immediately know that by hovering the mouse over it, I have single with a rate, double with a rate, triple with a rate, and quadruple. So I have all this information available. And honestly, we might not always know what it's for, but you can see how useful it is. So, thank you, Laura, for this question. I'm going to make short videos like this for you, quickly. The idea is not to spend 2 hours, and I'll go through your questions as they come. So, don't hesitate to let me know if this works for you. And if you have any ideas for something that would make your life easier, just let us know. Thank you, and have a great day, everyone.